My name's Sonu Lamba, and today we're making my famous Neatloaf. So for Thanksgiving, I love tofurkey, but on the side, I love making this Neatloaf. So my Neatloaf is a play on meatloaf, but it's healthier, it's compassionate, it's delicious, and it's ethical. And I love it, and my kids love it, and so today we're learning how to make Neatloaf. Okay, so we're going to be using a couple of products today, which I'm going to be introducing. So Beyond has come up with a sausage. Beyond has come up with beef crumbles. There's many products that Beyond does really, really well. Normally, I like to use Boca. So Boca does the same products. Another brand that does it is Gimme Lean. And then there's Garden. But I love Beyond and I love Boca. So today we are going to be doing the Beyond Beef Crumbles. So this is the base of our Neatloaf. Here it is. We're going to need 20 ounces of Beyond Beef Crumbles. So 2 packs of this. We're also going to be using a sister product of Beyond, which is the Beyond Sausage. Now, I don't know if you've tried the sausage, but I love it. It's a little pricey, but it's definitely worth it. So it usually comes in, I believe there's 3 different flavors. This is the original. They have an Italian, I believe they have a spicy. My kids love this stuff. It's delicious. And we're gonna use a couple of these Beyond sausages too. We're also gonna be using some rolled oats. So rolled oats are really healthy. These are whole grain rolled oats. I love Bob's Red Mill brand, so we're going to be using some of this. We are going to be using a Trader Joe's staple, MARCONA almonds. Now these are the roasted and salted rosemary MARCONA almonds. These are delicious. We are also going to use some barbecue sauce, some shiitake mushrooms, some celery, and some onions. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, so I have taken 1 pack of my Beyond Beef Crumbles and put it in my big bowl here. So we are going to assemble all our ingredients in this bowl, and then I'm gonna bake it for about 45 minutes. And then we're gonna cut it and then enjoy it with some sides. Okay, so I'm gonna get some of the stuff out of the way. Okay. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my second 10-ounce package of my Beyond Beef Crumbles. I'm going to open it up and put it in my bowl in here. I don't know if you've tried the Beyond Burger. Very, very popular in a lot of local restaurants. A lot of chains support it. It's wonderful to see more plant-based options that are readily available. I think this pandemic has really increased the options for vegetarians and vegans, and I'm really grateful for that. Okay, so I've thawed this for a couple hours. I'm going to go ahead and dump it in here. In it goes. As you can see, it's got a little bit of texture. These are crumbles. So this is what it looks like. And this stuff is very, very flavorful. Okay, next to this, I'm going to add 3 of my Beyond sausages. So the Beyond sausages are mimicking sausage, which typically has some casing that holds it in. Now I recommend, so if you look at this, this is intact. I have removed the casing off of this one. It's harder to hold. It's not so firm. I recommend you remove the casing. So I'm gonna go ahead and take this. I've already removed my casing. I'm just gonna dump it in here, just like that. Okay, so on the exterior of this Beyond sausage, there's like this, it's really hard to see. There's like a little coating. Now you can totally eat it. This is edible, but I don't like to. I like to remove it. So I'm gonna go ahead and take all this out. And it comes off very easily. There we go. I have been a vegetarian since 6th grade. And for me, it was definitely an ethical choice. I made the choice early on and I stuck to it. So once I get this casing off, I'm gonna go ahead, put this in my bowl and get the rest of my ingredients in here and mix it. All right, so I have crumbled our Beyond sausage into our bowl here. Next, I'm gonna go ahead and add about 8 shiitake mushrooms. If you don't got shiitake mushrooms, you can add porcinis, any mushroom that you have. Chop it up as fine as you can and definitely add it in. In go the shiitakes. And again, mushrooms have a natural umami flavor. They pair really, really well with this Beyond product. Okay, next I'm gonna go ahead and add 1 celery stick, which I've peeled and diced finely. In goes my celery, and celery has a wonderful flavor in here. Okay, next I'm gonna add 3/4 of a red onion. This is also gonna help contribute to some flavoring. Perfect. Okay. In go my whole grain rolled oats. There they are. This stuff is good for you. It's got fiber, tastes delicious. And this is also gonna help kind of bind this product that's kind of more loose. It's gonna bind it all together. I'm adding 1/2 teaspoon of salt and fresh cracked pepper. In it goes. Great. I'm gonna add about 3 cloves of garlic that I have crushed in my mortar and pestle. In go my garlic. Great. Okay. Finally, we need an herb. I love parsley in my Neatloaf. Whatever herb you've got at home, feel free to add it. Cilantro works. You can add rosemary. Rosemary is definitely very, very strong, so a little bit goes a long, long way. So just be careful. Thyme would work fine too. 1 herb. We don't want it overly perfumed with herbs. So I love parsley. This is my Italian flat leaf parsley. If you've got curly parsley, that's fine too. Okay, there is my parsley. Awesome. Finally, I like to have a little bit of a crunch. So I am using that wonderful Trader Joe's product, the rosemary dusted MARCONA almonds. I'm also using some pecans. 1/4 cup of the MARCONA almonds and 1/4 cup of the pecans. Chop them up and you're just gonna add them in. Great. Okay, next I'm adding 1/2 cup of barbecue sauce. Whatever barbecue sauce you love, add it in here. Again, it's gonna help perfume our Neatloaf. Seems like a lot, but 1/2 cup is perfect. And I like to serve this with root vegetables on the side. And so you'll see those in a little bit. Okay, in goes the barbecue sauce. Finally, I don't do eggs. So I like to substitute flax seeds as an equivalent to eggs. So I have 2 tablespoons of ground flax seeds with a couple tablespoons of warm water. And you can kind of see it's made this slurry. So this is my binding agent, fully plant-based, because the eggs belong to the chickens, not me. And I'm gonna go ahead and add this into my mixture here, which is gonna help bind everything together. In it goes. And flax seeds are very mild. So this is a very, very good alternative in this recipe. There are some other products that come in a powdered form, which are totally fine to substitute also. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna give this a mix, and then I'm gonna use my hands just to make sure it's fully incorporated. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna press it out in here, and we're gonna bake this for about 45 minutes at 375 degrees Fahrenheit. After that, we're gonna plate it and give it a try. Okay, so here's our meatloaf, all nicely mixed, really nicely incorporated. I love the smell. I can smell the herbs. I can't wait for this to bake. So I'm going to go ahead and transfer this to my parchment paper in my loaf pan here. So I'm going to transfer a little bit at a time. And if you like your meatloaf sweeter, you can add a little bit more barbecue sauce. We are going to top this off with a little bit of ketchup, a 1/4 cup of ketchup, and then we're going to bake it. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and press this out now. I want to try to get it as flat as I can, just so it kind of morphs into the shape of my pan here. And I want it to kind of bake like a loaf. So I want it to stick together. And this is a great option if you have guests visiting you or family members that are doing plant-based or following a vegetarian lifestyle. Go out of your way. This is delicious. I'm sure they'd appreciate it, and I'm sure you would too. This stuff is fantastic. It really is. The flavors are so natural. There's such few ingredients added to it. And the final product is just delicious. It really is. If you don't have rolled oats, you can totally use panko, which is Japanese breadcrumbs, or you can use breadcrumbs itself too. That's totally fine. I just like rolled oats because they're healthier. Okay. Looks great to me. Okay, so final thing we're gonna do is I'm gonna take a 1/4 cup of ketchup and I'm gonna equally distribute it over the top of my meatloaf, and then I'm gonna bake it. Okay, so that's a 1/4 cup right over here. And I'm just gonna get a spoon. And I'm just gonna spread it out very, very thin on the top, just for some additional sweetness. So this ketchup is totally good. My favorite brand of ketchup is a Portland ketchup company. So good. They use real tomatoes in their product. You can even find it at Costco, and it comes in a glass bottle. So very good for the environment too. That's my favorite brand of ketchup. I love it. And I'm just gonna thin this out, just like that. This looks superb. Great. Okay, so goes into our oven. Preheat your oven, 375 degrees Fahrenheit for 45 minutes. After that, I'm gonna check it. May need an additional 15 minutes. Wait for it to cool, and then we get to try it. Thanks. Okay, so our meatloaf is done. It's cooked for 50 minutes at 375 degrees Fahrenheit in the oven, and it is done. I have let it cool for about 10 minutes, and then I've carefully just taken the parchment paper and just put it on this cutting board. So I'm gonna go ahead, cut a slice. I'm serving it with some root vegetables. So my root vegetables, I like using carrots. These are carrots. And then I have some parsnips here. Parsnips are like a sweet carrot. And then finally, I have some rutabagas here. So the parsnips that I use are these guys here. This is my parsnip. I have peeled it, I have diced it, EVOO, salt, pepper, and I've baked it for about 25 minutes in my toaster oven, probably at 350. I've also combined it with these organic rutabagas. Root vegetables are so popular during Thanksgiving. They make for a wonderful side dish. They're sweet, they're a little tart, they just have that perfect bite. It just pairs really, really well with like a meatloaf or a tofurkey. Another thing that I really love to serve during Thanksgiving is this product. So when I say tofurkey, this is what we use. This is field roast. Tofurkey is a great product too. I love it. This is a celebration roast. Very, very simple. So it's just the traditional bread stuffing and the mushroom gravy. And I really, really like this. You can get this from Whole Foods or PCC. I also like serving my meatloaf with a spinach salad. I have put some green grapes and pomegranates in here, pomegranate seeds. And then of course, I'm gonna serve it with a honey mustard vinaigrette that I've made myself. So this will be great. And then finally, with my root vegetables, I've just drizzled some Modena sweetened balsamic vinegar. So that's what I'm gonna have my meatloaf with. A little bit of root vegetables with some balsamic. So I like to have the meatloaf with the celebration roast. This on its own is very small. If you're a family of 4, you will finish this and you'll still be hungry. So I like to have the meatloaf as another option if, you know, guests aren't full. Okay, time to try. So welcome back. So I've taken my meatloaf out of the oven. I've cut myself a very generous slice here. If you're enjoying any aspect of my show, hit that subscribe button. Thank you so much. Time for me to dig in. Okay, so I've poured myself a glass of red wine here. I'm using a French wine from the Moudon area. Okay, so I'm gonna give this a try. This is wonderful. I love the sweetness from the barbecue sauce. I can taste the Beyond sausage mixed with the beef crumbles, and together they have a wonderful depth. Really delicious. Definitely, if you're gonna go with the Beyond, go for both products from that same line. Okay, I'm gonna try it with some root vegetables. The parsnips are sweet. Really, really good balancing flavor. I'm gonna try a rutabaga. This is so great. This is so perfect for the fall. If you are gonna make the root vegetables, definitely add just a little bit of the balsamic together. This is fantastic. I love it. Definitely hit that subscribe button. You got to make this dish compassionate, kind, delicious, health conscious, so flavorful. You got to try this out. Thank you guys so much for watching.